Women's version of equality. We're going to look at why many women treat men the way they do, and three specific areas that you as a man can make your relationships with women much more quote unquote equal. Welcome back to Resilient Man channel. Your support of the channel is greatly appreciated. If you would like and subscribe and comment and blah, 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 you know the drill. Share it with your brethren as well. You know, most men are in favor of equality. And yet, the fact is, many men will never be treated equally as women feel they should be and that they demand for themselves. Because the reason for that is having men treated unequally in our society and culture by our status, by the money we make, by our role, the power that we have. This actually benefits many women in our society and culture. Now, we can discuss many examples of inequality towards men and how many women benefit from it. You know, the thumbnail that I used for this video, the scale is imbalanced in favor of the woman, and I use that for a reason, because if women are being honest, most don't really want equality between the sexes. They want superiority. They want special treatment. And we see this play out many times in many ways in our society and culture, be it in the workplace or in dating especially. Things are very imbalanced and very unequal as far as the expectations placed on men versus the expectations placed on women. Of course, the inequality when it comes to marriage, within a marriage, and of course, the inequality if you have are going through a divorce or have been through a divorce and you've dealt with the family court system. God, you know it's completely unequal towards you as a man. You know, there's an expression out there that goes, when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. And this is what we see today from many women on social media and such. That's why you see many of these women on social media crying over being quote unquote oppressed. You know, now the word oppressed is a very strong word, and it's used way too often by these women, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And we as men, we know this. But the fact of the matter is, women do treat men unequally based on our looks, based on our status, the power we have, and of course, obviously, the money that we have and what the resources that we can bring to the table. And women are fine with that inequality. They're perfectly fine with that inequality because it benefits them. But when men do the same, it's certainly not okay. So let's look at three areas, men, where you can have much more equality when it comes to your relationships with women, but it's going to be up to you. So here we go. Number one, do not compete with other men for a woman. You know, I see it all the time. Many men in our society today are simps. Some women call them orbiters, you know, but simps is probably the best one. You know, many are simps, or at least to a certain degree. Some men, of course, are worse than others when it comes to being a simp. And it's purposely done to pit men against men, one man against each other, so the woman can manipulate you as a man to get the best outcome for her as far as resources and such go. You know, I understand wanting to have your own woman. Yeah, we're human beings too. We want to have companionship and we would like someone special in our lives. But no woman respects you chasing her and simping. They simply don't. And especially when you are competing against other men. You know, some women will actually use your simping to manipulate the other guy or get what they want from quote unquote average men, that they see you as average men, just so they can get resources and what they want out of you. And that's why I say you should not compete against other men. You know, that's why there are chads, you know, the bad boys out there. These chads, we all know the chads are not held to any of these standards. The chads are not expected to meet any of these requirements. The chads, they get to go home with these women and have their fun. And they can do whatever they please. And you, the quote unquote average guy, you're held to a much higher standard and, you know, expected to compete with this other guy that really she's just using that as a manipulation technique. You know, it's a scam. Women know it. Women are able to manipulate men against other men to get what they want with the, you know, the quote unquote prize of winning her. Many times the prize you win is not what you thought it was going to be. And, you know, many women want men to constantly be competing against each other. And men, you need to stop. You need to stop. You need to have your own self-worth and, you know your worth, know your value. That's why at the end of every Resilient Man content video, I say, know your worth, protect your peace. It's part of the reason for it. My view is, if I say to a woman, you're not interested in me specifically, no problem. I'm not competing with anybody. And that's the key point that I'm making here. If she wants you to compete with other men, she's probably not that into you in the first place and you need to move on. So stop competing with other men. All right, number 2. Stop putting women on a pedestal. This is something I see all the time as well. Again, you know, I get it. Many women in our society feel that men are to serve women. They are here to serve women and they're to be, you know, we see it on social media, the narcissistic, you know, strong, independent boss babes, whatever you want to call them. They expect to be treated as queens, as princesses, and it's the worst thing you can do. You know, if you do this as a man, if you put a woman on a pedestal, you do it at your own detriment. She will, ultimately, she's going to treat you like crap, and she's going to treat you as if you have no value, because that is the situation, the relationship that you've established. She has all the value. She's on the pedestal. You're there to, quote unquote, serve her. You know, I did a video recently here on Resilient Man channel called, Is a Man's Happiness Even Considered? Check it out. And it discusses just that. You know, when you put a woman on a pedestal, you're essentially saying your happiness as a woman is all that matters. The woman's happiness supersedes everything, and my happiness as a man is irrelevant. Most of the time, it's not even considered. And you're setting a precedent where she is allowed and enabled to take, and all you do is give. And of course, we see how that plays out in our society and culture. It's never good. You're going to lose. So stop putting women on a pedestal. It makes you more equal, on an equal footing, when she sees your value as well, and she actually shows you that. Number 3, insist that she pay as well. You know, in our society and culture, we hear a lot of the strong and independent woman and the boss babe and all and you see this stuff on social media where women are, I'm this and I'm that, and I pay my own bills and I own my own home and I do all this stuff. And we as men watch this and we think, so that's just being an adult. Are you kidding me? You're actually getting on social media and actually bragging because you own your own home and you pay your own bills, but I laugh at it. But when it comes to being with a woman, whether you're dating or in that type of relationship, these women who are strong and independent and I'm this and I'm that and I make all this money and I make a strong income, and yet many of them will say the man is still expected to pay when it comes to doing things within a relationship or dating and things like that. Why is that? Why is that? The reason for it is we allow it. We allow it as men, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Look, I will share with you in my own personal life. I actually really struggled with this because in many ways, I'm very traditional. I'm old-fashioned in many ways. And there are, in the dating scene where I will ask the woman out. I'm inviting her, so I feel it's my obligation. I will pay for the first couple dates, 2 or 3 dates, because I am taking that leadership role as a man and taking the initiative, and I invited her. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. But as you progress in the dating relationship, and that's moving forward, I literally had to force myself to have these financial conversations with women that I date because we do live in a different time. Women do make good money. And from an equality standpoint, to be on a much more equal footing, it does make more sense for you as a man to say, look, I'm not paying for everything, and we need to discuss some type of equal arrangement here where at least part of the time you're paying for some of the things that we do, or, sharing that part of the relationship. I've shared this on some of my Resilient Man content where, the first few dates, I almost always pay because that is just what I want to do. And that's what I feel is I'm okay with that as a man, especially because I'm initiating that relationship. I think I've told a story of there was one woman who I met a few times. We were just getting to know each other. We met a few times for happy hour. And, we had some drinks. I think we had an appetizer or whatever. And I think we met twice. And the second time, one thing I always look for, always, on the first few dates especially, does she offer? Does she offer to pay? I simply want her to offer. I'm going to say, no, thank you. I appreciate it. But the fact that she offers is very important to me. It shows a lot about her character. Well, this woman particularly not only did she not offer, they brought the bill to us, put it on the table. She literally put her hand on it and slid it over to me. And I just thought to myself, I am done with you. Now, for me, it's not about the money. I think the bill was like $25, $30. We had some drinks and an appetizer. It's about mutual respect. And that's what I'm talking about from an equality standpoint for you as a man. When she pays for things, at least part of the time, it really does create a more equal dynamic in your relationship. And when there's more equality in paying for things in your relationship, it serves as a reminder to her that she's not the only one in the relationship. And she is not the only one who deserves to be treated with respect and dignity. Quite frankly, it weeds out a lot of women who simply want you because of your resources and what you can give her. You don't want those women who are just going to take. You want a woman who actually wants you. She wants to be with you. And so, guys, those are just three things that I wanted to throw out today on this message, just as from an equality, women's version of equality versus man, and three specific areas that you as a man can put things on a more equal footing within your relationships with women. So let me know your thoughts. Love to hear them, and comment that what your thoughts are here. Like and subscribe, of course. Appreciate your support of the channel. Guys, stay resilient, and we got much more content on here on Resilient Man channel, specifically for men and the topics and the issues that you're interested in. Check them out. So, guys, know your worth. Protect your peace.